Settling your claim. Workers' compensation is insurance that provides cash benefits and lifetime medical care if you are injured or become ill as a direct result of your job. But you and the insurance company can agree to permanently close your claim in exchange for one lump sum payment or an annual payment. This is known as settling the claim with a Section 32 waiver. It's a waiver because you're waiving your right to future compensation in exchange for this payment today. Because a workers' compensation claim can pay both lost wages and medical care, we'll review how a Section 32 waiver affects both of these. You can settle one and keep the other open, so you get benefits the same way you do today, or you can close both. That's up to you and the insurance company. What parts of a claim can be permanently closed? First, let's talk about the lost wages. You can take one lump sum payment for your future lost wages or receive an annual payment. The amount is whatever you, your lawyer, and the insurance company agree upon. It is subject to negotiation, and like all workers' compensation benefits, it's tax-free. But remember, if you choose a lump sum payment, it's the last workers' compensation payment you'll receive for lost wages due to your injury. Now, the medical care. If you choose to end your medical care coverage through a Section 32 waiver, the insurance company will never pay for your medical care again. You'll receive a one-time lump sum payment. You may need to set money aside from the lump sum payment in a special account to pay for future medical treatment for your workers' compensation injury. Medicare set-asides. Choosing to end your medical care coverage through a Section 32 waiver agreement may affect your right to Medicare benefits in the future. When settling a workers' compensation claim, the parties must take into account Medicare's interests. This is because if you settle your workers' compensation claim, you must use the settlement money to pay for medical care related to your workers' compensation injury or illness before Medicare will begin to pay for related care. This is often done by setting up a Medicare set-aside, or an MSA, out of the proceeds of the Section 32 waiver settlement, which will be used to pay for future medical treatment for your workers' compensation injury. If the parties do not agree to establish an MSA, whenever the agreement waives medical coverage, the parties need to provide the amount of the agreement that is allocated for medical care, even if zero. Failure to include a medical allocation or a sufficient medical allocation of at least 10% of the gross settlement amount when future medical treatment will be needed is a factor to be considered by the workers' compensation law judge, who may disapprove the agreement as unfair, unconscionable, or improper as a matter of law. A medical allocation may not be required if your condition is stable at the time of settlement and you have not been receiving medical treatment, you have no expectation of receiving medical treatment in the future, or your claim is being settled without being established. Failing to take into account Medicare's interests when you settle your claim can result in Medicare refusing to pay for treatment for your workers' compensation injury. Check with Medicare to learn your rights and responsibilities. Because Medicare is a federal program, the Workers' Compensation Board has no jurisdiction over it. What happens after I spend all the settlement money for my medical care? After you spend that part of your settlement payment designated to cover medical care, such as out of an MSA, you can pay for care either through Medicare or out of pocket. To be eligible for Medicare, you must either meet the age requirements or be receiving Social Security disability insurance. Check with Medicare to learn your rights. If Medicare isn't an option, you must pay for future care out of pocket. Health insurance does not cover the cost of work-related conditions. Therefore, health insurance will not cover the cost of your care. This includes health insurance bought through a state or federal program. You should keep in mind that you and the workers' compensation insurance company can agree to keep the medical portion of your claim open, and the insurance company will continue to pay for your care as it does today. What's the process? First, either your lawyer will approach the insurance company, or the insurance company will contact your lawyer to settle the claim. If you don't have a lawyer, You'll negotiate with the insurance company and its lawyer. The insurance company will most likely draw up the agreement. When you, your lawyer, and/or the insurance company agree on the terms of a settlement, the Workers' Compensation Board will review your agreement. A Section 32 waiver agreement is not final and binding on you and the insurance company until it's approved by the board. You have 10 days from the date of submission to withdraw from the agreement, and that date depends on whether you have a Section 32 hearing. If you have a hearing, the date of submission is your hearing date. If the workers' compensation law judge approves the agreement at the hearing and none of the parties withdraw in writing within the 10-day period, the board will mail you the final Section 32 decision. This is called a Notice of Approval Section 32 Waiver Agreement and is sent only after the withdrawal period ends. Once the final decision is issued after the initial 10-day period, the insurance carrier is then required to pay you within the following 10 days. If a hearing isn't necessary and the board approved the agreement, you will be sent a proposed but not yet final decision called a Proposed Notice of Approval, Section 32 Waiver Agreement. This decision will include the submission date. You have 10 days from the submission date to withdraw in writing. The decision will also tell you the specific date that the agreement will become final if no parties withdraw within the 10-day period. The insurance carrier is required to pay you within 10 days of the final agreement date. The board is required to check for child support liens. By law, any money you receive in a settlement is put toward paying the child support lien. You will then receive the balance. If you used a lawyer, their fee will be determined by statute and deducted from the money due to you. However, any benefits allocated for future medical costs will not be included when calculating the fee your attorney will receive. Let's review. Agreeing to a Section 32 waiver is a serious decision. You're ending your claim or part of it in exchange for a payment. You're also permanently waiving your right to any future benefits or payments. If you decide to move forward with a Section 32 waiver agreement, you must carefully plan for your medical care and how you will manage the money you receive now to supplement future lost wages. Only you can decide if a Section 32 waiver agreement is right for you. If you have questions before signing, please speak to your lawyer if you have one. To contact the Workers' Compensation Board with questions about the process, call 877-632-4996.